Every fortress needs warriors, but sooner or later, it needs a legend. For the anniversary episode, I felt like I needed to paint Grombrindal, and I didn't really want him to be just another special dwarf added to the army. For Barak-Karandul, he had to be something older, an image of pride, and still tied to our backstory. I wanted to push myself, and almost immediately, I was reminded of my nemesis, white paint. I started low-key with gray shadows inside the beard, layer of gray cere, trying to build up a white instead of just attacking it all at once. And of course, I was reminded very quickly how chalky white paint can get. But I carried through, and I kept coming back to it throughout the process, tweaking the shadows, touching up the strands, trying to make the beard feel worthy of the figure without overdoing it. For this miniature, the beard had to be the focal point. Not just a basic white beard, but something majestic and flowing. Almost like William Blake's Ancient of Days. Because he had to stand out as guardian and legend. That is what he became the first time I brought him into Barak-Karandul. Not this new anniversary version, but the old White Dwarf miniature from 1996. When I found him in a storage box after nearly 30 years, he became one of the earliest symbols of the build. Back then, I worked him into the story as the guardian of the shrine, rising to rescue the dwarven ghost guardians who were haunting my table from something ancient buried beneath the stone. I tied this miniature back to that moment in the Barak-Karandul story because it was my first real story arc. So in one sense, we've come full circle. Some of those elements started as accident and whim, but I won't bore you with all the details for now. In the end, when I rediscovered that old White Dwarf miniature, I knew he had to carry a special weight. But then, that figure has always carried special weight. He is mascot, myth, warrior, ancestor, joke, memory, and ideal all at once. Now, if you've been around the hobby space long enough, he is one of those figures who seems to stand somewhere behind the whole idea of dwarfdom, if you will. He has had a lot of incarnations through the years, and he's tied to the White Dwarf magazine, old stories, art, ads, battle reports, and all those little bits of hobby culture that many of us absorbed long before we understood how much they were shaping us. Now, I have a few White Dwarf books in collections on the shelf, including issue 200, and I've picked up the novels, though I still need to actually read them. In fact, if any of you have read those, please let me know. Are they any good? Now, for me, though, he came to represent something at the heart of dwarven nature: stubbornness, pride, memory, and the refusal to fade away. So, when I brought him into Barak-Karandul, that old weight became something very specific. And maybe that is what legends are supposed to do. I mean, when I found my old White Dwarf miniature in a storage box after almost 30 years, I wasn't thinking of all that yet. I just knew he felt right for Barak-Karandul. He became the guardian of the shrine, the figure who stood between the mountain and the thing buried beneath it. And over time, that role grew. He's not just guarding the shrine anymore, he's become part of the mountain's memory, a symbol of what dwarves were trying to reclaim, not just the halls and stonework, but pride, courage, stubbornness, and the belief that something old can still matter. And maybe that is why heroes and legends still matter, even when we know they're just made of memory.
So, this object both creates and destroys. Despite your failures, I am sending assistance.